Guys, I'm Michelle from Michelle's Romantic Tangle, and I decided to try thrifting again. The Salvation Army store is open for the first time since March, and this parking lot is usually absolutely packed. There were very few cars. I mean, I usually have to circle to find a space at all at this place, so I was surprised. The St. Vincent's that is across the street and a couple of blocks down, which is my favorite thrift store, is still closed with no signs of when they'll be reopening. Some of their other locations are open, but those are in a town that I don't spend much time in. So we'll start with this one and see if there is anything to find. Spoiler, there were things to find, otherwise I wouldn't be making a video and showing it to you. Some really pretty china. I have convinced myself that I don't need any more pretty china after the haul that my mom got for me. What was that, last summer? At a rummage sale, but it's still pretty to look at, and I can always look. I just can't always bring it home. And someday, I'm going to find the set that is so pretty that I will take it home and replace what I got. Love these cut glass goblets. And this picture intrigues me. That tier is so dimensional and realistic, but I could not live with that on my wall. It would make me sad every time I looked at it. Let me know, would you put that on your wall? Here are a couple of pictures, and at first I was trying to figure them out and thinking they must be by the same artist. Then about the time I got to this one, I saw the little lacy detail on the bottom of her dress and started to suspect that they might be embellished, but I couldn't really see any stitching. This one is a vintage embellished crewel kit, which I know because I think I have it in my stash. And here we get to the one framed without glass, and the mystery is solved. Yes, these are embellished crewel. There is stitching, there is a printed image, but on the ones that are framed behind the glass, you have to look hard to see the stitching, and you can only find it if you already know that it's there. That is exactly the reason that I don't like putting my own stitching behind glass, because I've looked at exhibits and other people's work, and I don't like the way that it hides the stitches. Here is an old trunk. I am still looking for two more for my youngest two sons. Not this one. I don't have room in the back of the Subaru, and it was not the day to be buying a trunk. And I have maybe twice in my life seen trunks at the thrift store that were a good enough deal that I should have jumped on them. This isn't the one. Is that another one or a flashback to one of the earlier pictures? Those all have to have come out of the same household, I'm sure. Very vintage waterfall there. The thrift store, all of the thrift stores I have been in, they have rearranged the aisles, and I guess it's more space to keep people social distancing, but there aren't a lot of people out shopping anyway. I am sticking to times and days of the week when, back when life was normal, there would have been very few people in the stores, so I'm not going on a Saturday afternoon or a time when I have any inkling that it might be crowded, because not so much scared as just not wanting to deal with it and add to the crowds, because I don't need to. Lots of bric-a-brac. Like I said, they have totally rearranged this store, so I didn't know where to find things to begin with, and now I definitely do not know where to find anything. So many wedding cake toppers. I will never understand some of the multiples you see in thrift stores. These were $1 each, so if somebody had a project for a couple dozen brides and grooms, they could pull it off. If the boys had been with me, they would have been trying to talk me into buying a shark's mouth. Here is the craft section. I had never found the craft section at this store, or if they even had a craft section. They had some halfway decent yarn, but nothing that I needed to bring home with me. Some fabric with the TARDIS on it. No price. I did look because I've got kids who are into Doctor Who. And now we are to, I should know what thrift store this is, but I don't know the name of it because I don't go there very often. This is where I found the dollhouse a couple of weeks ago, and I was back looking to see if the dollhouse had been marked down. I always go into this little room full of pictures because once upon a time I found a cross-stitched complete Teresa Wentzler unicorn here. I know that lightning won't strike twice. I know that I can't possibly find another one, but I look just in case. And those are the spines of Beatles albums. It took me forever to figure out what they were. Love the little girl and the solemn expression on her face. I would be tempted. There is my favorite couch of the week. It didn't have a whole lot of competition, but that is just pretty. I've heard that the thrift stores are no longer accepting upholstered furniture. I hope that is not true because I want to see the gorgeous things like that find new homes. There's a very brightly painted oil painting and a pretty house playing the game of things I would stitch if they were a cross-stitch pattern. I believe that that was stitched, except I've waited too long to do the narration for this video, so I can't be sure. I know that that piece was stitched, and I couldn't get a decent angle since I was in a hallway. Pretty glass, which I always stop to look at, even though I am not bringing any of it home. All of the furniture in this store is roped off with caution tape. And I don't understand the logic of it. I don't know if they feel the furniture is dangerous. It certainly didn't stop that one guy from sitting down and ensconcing himself with his cell phone while presumably someone else he was with did their shopping. I'm curious to know if that was the one chair in the place without tape on it or if he removed it himself. Anyone else noticing the caution tape on all of the furniture? I would be hesitant to buy a couch at the thrift store, definitely not without sitting on it first. I love this. It is a painting and there is lace glued to the glass, so the lace is raised up above the painting. Hereafter, I just ranted about not liking glass on my projects. The glass on this is neat. And here we are in the game section where I saw that dollhouse last time. They've rearranged everything and the dollhouse is definitely not there. I hope that someone who wanted it bought it. If they did buy it, I hope that it had all or at least most of the pieces it was supposed to have. Wasn't meant to be for me, I guess, and I don't feel bad about that because if I had wanted it badly enough, I would have paid the, what was it, $12.99 that they had it marked on. I did kind of look around the area and in the toy section and any place else where I thought that it might have been moved to if someone working in the store decided that it didn't belong in the games, but no dollhouse, and that is fine. I have several already and don't need another one as much as I might like to have another one. Here is a worm farm for kids. That would have been perfect like 3 or 4 years ago. I am forever now finding things that would have been perfect if I had found them just a little bit earlier. I think they make more cool things for younger children now than they did 15 years ago when I was in the position where I would have been looking for it. Here's some more really pretty china. It's something that is striking enough for me to cross the room and take a look at it and drool over it, but not something that I feel like I have to buy and bring back home to my own house. Here's some more brightly colored stuff. I think this is probably newer, but what do I know? Not the history of China, I can tell you that. Some very boring china. And some more pretty stuff. I like the way this little room is staged. We're going to be able to date our thrifting videos in the future by the stickers on the floor. That is a gorgeous scene that I would cross stitch if it was a pattern, and I probably have some things in my stash. I know I've got some crafts by Barbara and Cheryl that have very much the same feel as that. So I guess it's my new fun game to play I would stitch that if it was cross stitch, and I would definitely stitch that still life if it was cross stitch. And if I had more wall space, I might be tempted to bring that still life home and put it on my walls. And this is why it's going to be a while before I get back to this thrift store. It is on a one-way street that is a little bit difficult to navigate because I can't on the best day remember where on the one-way street to get over to get to the shop, and they have construction next door. I think they're building the new police station, so the one-way street that I need to get to the one-way street the thrift shop is on is blocked off, and that is just a little too challenging for me. I also think that they've lost a ton of their parking, so it was tricky to get in and get a space. But I wanted to see the dollhouse, and now I'm glad to know that I saw what there was to see. And here's St. Vinny's down in Albany. This is our last thrift shop of the day. It is so much more empty than it used to be, which is a shame. They still do have a few interesting things to look at. And I mean, I suppose if you wanted to buy a table, they've got them. I think that chair, either I keep seeing that same chair there or the world is just totally full of that style of green chair. Another piece I'd stitch if it was cross stitch, and actually I'm working on something fairly similar. I like this rustic wooden chair, but not for $69. I am the first to say that I don't know the value of things, and I'm sure there's a good reason behind it, but not for me in my house. Remember, as far as anyone knows, we're a normal family. It's cute. Like the sentiment, don't know that I would put it on my wall. And following the arrows, I don't know that when I was in the store I even saw the arrows. Nobody else is following the arrows, but it doesn't matter because there are so few people that if there's only one person in the aisle, does it matter if they're following the direction that the red taped arrow told them to go? I'm going to say no. If there are people in the aisle, yes. First of all, I'm going to wait till they're not in that aisle because I want to give everyone all the space they need. And second of all, yes, I will wait my turn and follow the arrow if there seems to be a purpose for it. I swear I'm going to get myself kicked out of the grocery store for ignoring the arrows and going down empty aisles. I've got such dirty looks. But if the aisles on either side are totally crowded with people and I need something that's 3 steps down the other empty aisle, I'm going to go with the method that keeps me away from the people. And here is the craft section. I have, every time I have been here lately, had to circle around and bide my time before I could get into the craft section because there are other women there looking through absolutely everything. And she was there first. It was her turn. I don't grudge her a minute of the time she spent. There were 2 itty bitty cross stitch patterns. And, 3 good reasons for a teacher. And then this one is Some Do Jane Fonda, I Do Sara Lee. Not something that I have ever had the slightest urge to stitch. So those happily stayed behind. I believe I left all of these thrift stores empty-handed. I hope that things pick up soon. You know, everybody said that once the lockdown was over and everybody had cleaned out their closets, the thrift stores were going to be full of treasures, but I am sure not seeing it, and I am not doing nearly as much thrifting as I used to do because I just haven't been finding anything and haven't I'm in the mood. If there were things in the stores, I would love to be there looking at those things. But there's not much in the stores these days. Let me know, are you thrifting? I'm in an area where there are very few cases and I feel safe going out and about. Please base your own decisions not on what I am doing, but on where you live and what is going on there and what the current advisories are. Let me know. How are you doing? Are you finding anything? Thank you for shopping with me. I am Michelle from Michelle's Romantic Tangle, and I'll be back with more videos soon.